Welcome to the channel. In this video, you will learn why spending as much time in the sun as possible is essential for your health, and why you need to be sunlight maxing. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more similar content. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
The sun is the source of all life on the planet. It is vital for all life on Earth, animals, plants, and humans alike. Ancient civilizations worshipped the sun. The Greeks worshipped the god Helios. The Egyptians worshipped the sun god Ra. And the ancient Romans named their sun god Sol Invictus, believing it was a source of power. Contact with the sun is essential for human health. Humans have known this for centuries. However, today people spend less time in the sun than any point in human history. But why is the sun so important for our health? Let's dive in. Most of you are probably aware that the sun is the primary source of vitamin D, which is essential for human health. However, before I get into that, it is important to know that the sun has another very important function. The human body works under a natural body clock, based on the light signals it receives from the sun. Human beings evolved under these light cycles. This is known as the circadian rhythm. Let me explain. Firstly, receiving early morning sunlight, immediately after waking up. This stimulates cortisol production, which is the hormone that immediately rises after waking up, helping you to feel energized in the morning. Secondly, receiving sunlight in the middle of the day, when the sun is at its highest point and when UVB is strongest. This is roughly between the hours of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., depending on where you live in the current season. This is the best time for vitamin D absorption in the body. Thirdly, receiving light at sunset, or watching the sunset, stimulates melatonin production inside the cell through infrared light from the sun. This is commonly known as the hormone that helps you to feel tired and helps you to fall into REM sleep. But it also acts as a powerful antioxidant, reducing inflammation and boosting the immune system. Ensuring that you receive sunlight at these times of the day is a simple way to make sure you maintain good levels of vitamin D, feel energized during the day, and sleep better at night. Having a well-aligned circadian rhythm is vital for your health and your energy levels. However, the modern lifestyle provides many interferences with the circadian rhythm. Mobile phones, TV screens, tablets, and indoor fluorescent LED lights emit artificial blue light. People generally spend more time indoors than previously and more time receiving artificial blue light instead of natural sunlight. Lack of morning sunlight means less cortisol production, meaning that you feel less energized when you wake up. Lack of sunlight during the day means less vitamin D production, which causes health issues. This will be explained later in the video. In addition to this, most people nowadays replace watching the sunset in the evening with technology, such as watching TV or gaming. Doing this at night especially affects your sleep as it inhibits melatonin production because the bright blue light tricks your body into thinking it is still daytime. This causes sleep issues, and even if you do manage to sleep uninterrupted during the night, blue light before bed can still affect the quality of your sleep and your ability to enter REM sleep. The risks of prolonged lack of sleep are well known. It can cause high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hormonal imbalances, and mental health issues. Now that you understand the importance of the circadian rhythm, let's now discover one of the main reasons the sun is so important for your health. Vitamin D is vital for human health. It has many key functions in the body and is needed to ensure that the systems in your body are working to their maximum capabilities. Yet despite this, such a large number of people are deficient in vitamin D. I bet that all of you watching this video are deficient right now. It is one of the most common deficiencies worldwide. Your vitamin D levels can be affected by the climate you live in. In regions with less overall sunlight, such as in Northern Europe and North America, vitamin D levels tend to be lower than in sunnier regions. Your vitamin D levels will also be affected by your skin tone. People with darker skin will need more sunlight to make the same amount of vitamin D as a person with lighter skin. This is because the melanin in darker skin acts as a protective layer from the sun. This is why, although it is important to get as much vitamin D from sunlight as possible, it is also important to receive it from food sources such as eggs and fatty fish. These sources will not be enough on their own, however, and cannot replace natural sunlight as a vitamin D source. Therefore, in addition to these, it would be beneficial to take vitamin D supplements, especially in winter. As I mentioned, vitamin D has many important functions in the body. However, the first one I am going to cover is one that is probably going to surprise you. Have you ever wondered why it is you feel happier in the summer months compared to the winter? And have you ever suffered from seasonal depression, aka winter blues? This is because your levels of vitamin D can greatly affect your mental health. Vitamin D strongly influences and regulates the hormonal system. This includes serotonin and dopamine, the hormones that make you feel happy. It does this by increasing an enzyme called TPH2, which triggers brain serotonin production, while also reducing TPH1, which produces excess serotonin, preventing hormonal imbalances. Low levels of vitamin D have been associated with a wide range of mental health issues such as depression, schizophrenia, autism, and Alzheimer's. Whether these disorders are caused by low vitamin D levels alone isn't exactly clear. However, one thing that is common among patients suffering from these disorders is that many of them have extremely low levels of vitamin D. There is more likely, however, to be a stronger connection between low vitamin D levels and depression, as there may be more evidence for this link. Nordic countries such as Greenland and Finland have winters with very little sunlight, sometimes 5 hours a day or less. The most northern parts of these regions can have days with little to no sunlight at all for extended periods of time. Greenland and Finland have some of the highest rates of SIDE in the world, and the main reason for this is the dark, cold winters. It is highly likely that the people living in these regions during the winter months are deficient in vitamin D and that they are suffering from hormonal issues as a byproduct of this. This probably just scratches the surface as to the impact of vitamin D deficiency on mental health, and it shows that there is clear evidence between vitamin D, sunlight intake, and mental health. Vitamin D also has a massive impact on your physical health and physical ability. It plays a key role in the strength and function of your bones and muscles. Without vitamin D, the body cannot absorb calcium and phosphorus properly. Vitamin D also regulates the levels of calcium and phosphorus in the blood, sending signals to the gut and kidneys to absorb more calcium. It also promotes the osteoblasts, which are bone-building cells. High vitamin D intake paired with good calcium absorption can increase your bone density and strengthen your bones. Deficiency in vitamin D causes the bones to be weak and brittle. In children, this can cause rickets and can cause osteoporosis in the elderly. In both cases, bones are prone to fractures and breakages. Low vitamin D also affects your dental health, leading to enamel erosion and eventual tooth decay. You could be drinking 3 liters of milk a day, but your body would not be able to absorb the calcium properly without adequate vitamin D levels. This is because vitamin D aids absorption of calcium from the intestines into other areas of the body. Regarding the muscles, vitamin D plays an important role in stimulating protein synthesis, as muscles, like bones, have vitamin D receptors. Increasing vitamin D intake has been shown in multiple studies to increase muscle mass in elderly adults suffering from sarcopenia, where the muscles break down and weaken in old age. These bone and muscle issues don't just affect children and the elderly. Those of you who are active, play sports, or go to the gym will need higher levels of vitamin D and calcium than the average person due to the energy expense through physical activity. In addition to this, to ensure proper recovery and an increase in bone density and muscle hypertrophy, it is vital to maintain high levels of vitamin D through sun and supplementation. Now, the role of vitamin D goes even deeper than this. It has a profound effect on your immune system, helping the body fight infection and disease. People have known about the ability of sunlight to cure disease for centuries. This is known as heliotherapy and was popularized by Hippocrates, the ancient Greek known as the father of modern medicine. Niels Ryberg Finsen, a Danish doctor, won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1903 for using light therapy to treat tuberculosis. Swiss doctor Auguste Rollier used sunlight to treat rickets and skin diseases in the early 1900s. For example, a well-known treatment method for toenail fungal infections is direct sunlight on the infection for a prolonged period, repeatedly. This principle also applies to viruses. A study on patients with COVID-19 found that patients who were supplemented with vitamin D spent less time in hospital, and their need for supplementary oxygen was greatly reduced while in hospital. But what role does vitamin D have on boosting the immune system? Well, vitamin D increases the production of an antimicrobial peptide in the body called cathelicidin. This peptide is the body's first line of defense against infection and disease. Adequate vitamin D levels also increases the efficiency of cathelicidin. Cathelicidin production is the key to fighting infection, and its production influences the severity of your symptoms and how long your body takes to fight infection. Hospitals 50 years ago would always ensure patients got fresh air and sunlight every day, knowing that this was vital for recovery. Also, this type of treatment was not only limited to those with viral infections. Nurses and doctors would encourage those with chronic diseases to receive more natural sunlight as well. People knew previously that the sun was beneficial, and now with modern science, we know why. Vitamin D has a huge role in preventing a wide range of chronic diseases. You won't believe this, but this includes cancer. Generally, there seems to be a common connection between cancer patients, and this is that they seem to have low levels of vitamin D. People with lower levels also seem to contract more aggressive forms of the disease and show an increased risk of various types of cancer. Studies have shown that low levels of vitamin D binding protein, which acts as a carrier of vitamin D to cells, has been associated with a wide range of malignant tumors, such as in the breast and in the prostate. Vitamin D lowers inflammation in the body, controlling abnormal cell growth, which is the beginning of cancer. Another key function of vitamin D is that it controls your blood pressure, preventing high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. It does this by regulating the secretion of renin from the kidneys. Renin converts angiotensin I, a peptide produced by the liver, into angiotensin II. This causes the adrenal glands to release aldosterone, which causes blood pressure to rise. Without vitamin D, the production of renin cannot be regulated effectively, leading to the body producing too much aldosterone, causing high blood pressure. Renin also has another key function. Renin also promotes the secretion of insulin. Again, if renin production is too high, insulin production becomes out of control. If this is chronic and extreme, it causes diabetes. Low vitamin D is common among those with type 1 and type 2. Studies have recommended that doctors explore vitamin D deficiency when exploring causes and treatments for chronic diseases. To all the men out there watching this video, you will want to listen to this. Vitamin D plays an important role in testosterone production. Multiple studies have shown that men with higher testosterone levels have higher levels of vitamin D. One reason for this is due to the impact vitamin D has on your overall health, such as regulating your immune system, reducing inflammation, and controlling insulin. Ensuring that you get proper deep sleep and sunlight at times where vitamin D production is most available is also vital for good health, which is vital for testosterone production. Vitamin D also directly impacts testosterone production in the body. Vitamin D stimulates luteinizing hormone. This increases the production of steroidogenic enzymes in the Leydig cells. These are specialized cells located in the testes, with their primary function being to produce testosterone. Now, you may have seen in some health circles online that direct sunlight on the testes massively increases your testosterone. There are studies that back this theory. However, I'm not advising you to do this for obvious reasons. Receiving sunlight by just simply sitting or taking a walk outside is more than enough. Now that you understand the importance of sunlight and vitamin D, it's time to address the elephant in the room. You've probably heard that spending too much time in the sun without protection is bad for your skin, and that it can cause wrinkling, rapid skin aging, and skin cancer. This mainstream opinion is probably one of the reasons that vitamin D levels are so low worldwide. Some people may avoid sunlight because of this advice, or use sunscreen, thinking that this is lowering their chances of getting skin cancer. But does sunscreen really prevent skin cancer? And does the sun really cause it? Studies show that those who work indoors have higher rates of melanoma than those who work outdoors. In addition to this, a study on melanoma rates on white Americans in different parts of the country showed that rates were higher in northern states, such as New Hampshire, Delaware, and Vermont, which are cooler and receive less sunlight, compared to warmer and sunnier southern states, such as New Mexico, Florida, and Arizona. If the sun really did cause skin cancer, those in warmer climates would be greatly more affected. However, this is not the case. But this is also because chronic exposure to the sun builds up the skin's tolerance to UV. Those who spend little time in the sun are more likely to suffer forms of skin damage associated with sunlight exposure after increased time in the sun. Despite this, Studies show that rates of skin cancer in the U.S. have greatly increased since the 1970s and are increasing by 3% each year. Sunscreen is the most common form of skin protection from the sun and started to gain popularity in the 1970s. Sunscreen is heavily marketed as part of the skincare and cosmetics industry and claims to lower your risk of skin damage from UVB and protect against skin cancer. However, multiple studies show that sunscreen does not prevent skin cancer. And as mentioned before, rates of skin cancer have been increasing since the 1970s, despite the development of stronger and supposedly more effective sunscreen. In fact, studies show that sunscreen can even increase your risk of cancer. Yes, you heard that right. So what is sunscreen's role in this? And why is it such a risk to your health? Now, have you ever checked the ingredients of a sunscreen bottle? It's likely that the label contains a long list of ingredients, many of which are very difficult to pronounce. This is common among many different types of cosmetic products. Many of these ingredients are not naturally occurring and require heavy processing or to be artificially constructed in a lab. These products are marketed as having naturally occurring ingredients, yet contain them in only very small proportions. Furthermore, they are marketed safe for everyday use without any warning as to the risks they may pose. These ingredients are absorbed very easily when applied to the skin and into your bloodstream, where the body struggles to break them down. Evidence has shown that these ingredients can gather in your organs, particularly in the kidneys and liver, which are responsible for filtering waste from the body and cleaning out the bloodstream. Studies on sunscreen in the early 2000s in the US showed that many contain an ingredient called oxybenzone. Sunscreens containing it have been banned in Hawaii, Thailand, and other Pacific countries because it contaminates marine wildlife. Now the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has deemed oxybenzone safe for use. However, studies have shown that oxybenzone is highly anti-androgenic and increases estrogen levels in the body. This has an extremely negative effect on testosterone production. One study showed that oxybenzone lowered the testosterone of 558 adolescents. In another study, out of 4 tested sunscreen ingredients, all 4 were found in the blood and urine samples of subjects at concentrations exceeding the FDA's limitations set for the inclusion of these ingredients. It has even been shown to increase the prevalence of breast cancer cells in women. Clearly, this shows that public health bodies such as the FDA cannot be trusted to judge whether products are safe for everyday use. It does not end there. These ingredients have even been found in breast milk. Therefore, chronic exposure to these chemicals could have a negative impact on fetal development. Studies have shown that sunscreen ingredients can negatively impact your thyroid health. To understand how dangerous this is for your overall health, let me explain the function of the thyroid in the body. Your thyroid, located at the front of your lower neck, has an important role in essentially every major function in your body. This includes the cardiovascular system, nervous system, skeletal and muscular system, your digestive system, and reproductive system. Your thyroid also regulates more mood, mental alertness, and metabolism. In infants and children, it has a massive role in growth and development, mentally as well as physically. All of these key systems are at danger of being negatively impacted by the toxic chemicals in sunscreen. As mentioned, you can see the studies for yourself, as I will provide links to studies in the description below. But you should ask yourself, why would governments around the world ban such ingredients if they were safe to use? When you add the risks that these studies have highlighted, it is clear that it's more likely that sunscreen has a negative impact on your health. For the record, there are multiple ingredients in sunscreen that are banned by countries who wish to protect their natural environment. I will put a link to all studies I have used in this video in the description. So what is the alternative? Some of you probably typically suffer from sunburn on a hot summer's day, thinking that this is unavoidable because you have lighter skin. If this is you, you can massively benefit from what I am about to tell you. A study on white Australian adults showed that omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acids had a positive effect on sunburn sensitivity and decreased the likelihood of skin cancer. However, this is where it gets interesting. The study showed that omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids increase the prevalence of sunburn and the risk of skin cancer. You've probably heard of the importance of omega-3s and associate them with fatty fish, such as mackerel, tuna, and sardines. Grass-fed beef is also another good source. Omega-6 are present in almost all ultra-processed foods, but the most common natural sources are in chicken and eggs. They are also present in walnuts, Brazil nuts, sunflower seeds, and sesame seeds. Processed foods generally are bad for your health for many reasons, and this subject needs a video of its own. But for now, we will focus on its impact on your ability to protect yourself from skin damage from the sun. The amount of omega-6 is very high in processed foods, and the common ingredients containing omega-6 are seed oils, such as canola oil, sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, soybean oil, and sesame oil. If you look at the ingredients label of any processed food, you will probably find one of these ingredients. Fast food restaurants commonly use these oils in their cooking. See, omega-6 are actually vital for your health, the same way omega-3s are. The body needs omega-6 from natural sources for brain function and health, bone health, and cell and gene regulation. However, the level of omega-6 in the body must be balanced with a level of omega-3s at a ratio of roughly 2:1. However, modern Western diets are far too high in omega-6, and this ratio can be as high as 20:1. This causes chronic inflammation, and as we know, controlling inflammation is important for the prevention of cancer. To lower your risk of inflammation and skin cancer, you should avoid eating processed foods and replace vegetable and seed oils with high-quality olive oil, butter, and coconut oil for cooking. For extra sun protection, replace toxic sunscreen with natural ingredients. The medicinal plant aloe vera is a great alternative. It has been used as treatment for wounds and burns for centuries. It contains antioxidants such as vitamin A, E, and C, and has been shown to reduce the amount of sunburned skin cells after sun exposure. Also, unlike sunscreen, it doesn't block UVB rays, meaning your skin can build up its tolerance to the sun and still produce vitamin D effectively. Sunscreen is designed to limit the amount of UVB that penetrates the sun. This inhibits the production of vitamin D through receptors in the skin. And again, researchers have failed to find a link between lower rates of skin cancer and sunscreen use in multiple studies worldwide. Shea butter is also a great alternative to sunscreen and also contains vitamin A and E and aids skin cell regeneration. Shea butter has been widely used in African countries for centuries. Coconut oil is also effective as an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant for the skin. It is widely used in tropical countries as a moisturizer and as wound treatment. Like shea butter and aloe vera, it is also effective at treating inflammation and skin damage from UVB rays. These natural sunscreens will protect your skin more effectively by controlling inflammation and healing your skin cells. Most importantly, it will not wreak havoc on your hormonal health and skin health. If you pair this with the avoidance of processed foods, seed oils, and replace them with natural cooking oils, you will greatly increase your skin health and your ability to tolerate the sun, regardless of the tone of your skin. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more similar content. See you soon.